Welcome to your most favorite channel, Heartbeat. My name is Dr. Amrit Kejriwal. As a student, I say that in the near future, most of the teaching will be digitalized. Hard copies of books will become obsolete. They will be replaced by soft copies. Lectures and lecture halls will be no more. They will be replaced by videos and online classes. Practical classes will remain in medical sciences. We should be prepared for a revolution in learning and teaching methods. Today we learn something about metabolic alkalosis. Channel's name is Heartbeat. My name is Dr. Amrit Kejriwal. Metabolic alkalosis. In metabolic alkalosis, pH is greater than 7.45 and pH is equal to 6.1 plus log bicarb divided by 0.0301 multiplied by PCO2. So, if the bicarb increases, there will be increase in the pH, and this is metabolic alkalosis, and PCO2 will increase correspondingly. The pH may still be normal in coexisting acid-base disorders. There can be associated features associated with metabolic alkalosis. The patient may have associated hypokalemia and hypochloremia, and if there is concomitant potassium hydrogen loss, the severity will increase. So, bicarb will be increased in metabolic alkalosis, and PCO2 should increase by 0.75 millimeters of mercury per millimole increase in bicarb. So, normally in patients with metabolic alkalosis, PCO2 is equal to bicarb plus 15, and if this does not exist, then another disorder is present. It's failure of the kidneys to excrete bicarb, excess of the bicarb, and the kidneys will fail to regulate if there is volume deficiency. Chloride and potassium deficiency coexist with decreased GFR. Also, if hypokalemia is present due to autonomous hyperaldosteronism, kidneys will fail to excrete bicarb. Coming to the etiology, exogenous bicarb loads. They can be due to acute alkali administration or milk alkali syndrome. Continuing with etiology, whenever there is effective extracellular fluid volume contraction, normotension, potassium deficiency, and secondary hyperrenic hyperaldosteronism, it can be to gastrointestinal origin or renal origin. Various causes of gastrointestinal origin are vomiting, gastric aspiration, congenital cholelahydria, gastrocytoplasty, or villus adenoma. Renal origin, diuretics, post-hypercapnic state, hypercalcemia or hypoparathyroidism, recovery from lactic acidosis or ketoacidosis, non-reabsorbable ions, magnesium, potassium deficiency, Bartter syndrome, and Gitelman syndrome. Extracellular fluid expansion, hypertension, potassium deficiency, and mineralocorticoid excess. These are the features present with high renin or low renin. So, in high renin, you made various causes renal artery stenosis, accelerated hypertension, renin secreting tumor, or estrogen therapy. And low renin can be seen in primary aldosteronism, adrenal enzyme defects, Cushing syndrome, or others. So, in primary aldosteronism, you can get adenoma, hyperplasia, or carcinoma. Adrenal enzyme defects is 11 beta hydroxylase deficiency or 17 alpha hydroxylase deficiency, and others are such as licorice, carbenoxolone, and chewers tobacco. And Liddle syndrome, final cause under the etiology. In mild to severe metabolic alkalosis, you do not get many symptoms, but in moderate to severe metabolic alkalosis, you can get various symptoms such as abnormal sensation, neuromuscular irritability, tetany, coma, and seizures. Approach: you have to take the history, and the clinical examination has to be done. Investigations are dictated by the history and clinical examinations. All the investigations are not required in all the patients. So, look for alkali loading alkalosis, milk alkali syndrome, hypercalcemia, refeeding alkalosis, injection penicillin use. If they are not present, then you do the urine chloride. If the urinary chloride is less than 20 milliequivalents per liter, then it can be due to loss of gastric secretions, post-diuretic therapy, post-hypercapnia, villus adenoma, or congenital chlorhydria. If it is greater than 20 milliequivalents per liter urinary chloride, look for hypertension. If hypertension is not present, then it can be due to Barter's, Gitelman's active diuretic therapy, potassium or magnesium deficiency. If hypertension is present, then you have to do the plasma renin activity. The plasma renin activity can be high or low. If it is high, it can lead to renal secreting tumors, renal artery stenosis, diuretics, or accelerated hypertension. If it is low, do the plasma aldosterone. If it is high plasma aldosterone, then it is due to primary hyperaldosteronism, which can again be due to hyperplasia, adenoma, or carcinoma. And if the plasma aldosterone is low, it can be Cushing's, exogenous steroids, 11 beta hydroxylase deficiency, or 17 alpha hydroxylase deficiency, Liddle's or licorice. Management depends primarily on the underlying etiology. So, if a patient has vomiting as a cause of metabolic alkalosis, give antiemetics. And in some patients, continuous gastric aspiration is always required. So, in such patients, proton pump inhibitors may be used. Sometimes diuretics, then you change the diuretics. If the patient has volume depletion, correct the volume depletion, look for the potassium and chloride levels, correct them. And if the patient is in a edematic state such as congestive cardiac failure along with metabolic alkalosis, use a potassium sparing diuretic and avoid volume overload. There are other causes also. Primary hyperaldosteronism. Such patients require potassium sparing diuretics, and if the primary hyperaldosteronism is due to adrenal adenoma or carcinoma, surgical removal of the tumor is required. In Cushing's syndrome, potassium sparing diuretics plus surgery both will be required. And syndrome of apparent mineral corticoid excess, potassium sparing diuretics are required. Licorice ingestion, discontinue licorice. Bartter syndrome and Gitelman syndrome, they require potassium supplementation, potassium sparing diuretics, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and ACE inhibitors. Liddle syndrome, you use amuride or triamterene, but not to be treated with spironolactone. There are other therapies also. Hydrochloric acid, this is usually not used, but it can be used when sodium chloride and potassium chloride are contraindicated or the pH is persistently greater than 7.55. Dialysis can also be used for treat metabolic alkalosis. Both peritoneal dialysis and hemodialysis may be done.